Speaking of incredible shows,
Vox Machina, episodes 7, 8, and 9. Can we go back to having, like, insane sexy scenes out of nowhere? Yeah, it may be in Jump, but at least I didn't want to cry at work.
I don't know how to talk about these 3 episodes of you. For the listeners, I've watched Critical Role when it was the live game. There are things I know that will spoil things, so I really don't know how to talk around this. Excited that season 4's got confirmed.
Yes.
So, I will say, these 3 episodes, roller coaster. They shook me. And damn, they know how to write a good show. Obviously, they had the live game as their basis, but like to turn that into a animated
you still got
show,
to adapt it, yeah.
Yeah, they've fully rewritten the story. Something I did find out is because they did like a little roundtable thing at just before last week's episodes, so like at the midway point. I kind of did know this, but this confirms it. But Travis and Sam are the 2 that have headed Legends of Vox Machina. They are they're the ones that have been there writing it alongside the writers.
Who does Sam play, sorry?
Sam plays Scanlan.
Okay.
And Travis is Grog.
I know Travis is Grog. Yeah. I love me some Grog. Grog was the only saving grace for my soul in these 3 episodes.
The fix him. That line in the live game broke so many hearts.
Travis. So here's the thing with Travis. He is a big, beautiful idiot. Like, if you know nothing about him. When he speaks on like panels and stuff, he comes across as incredibly intelligent. I'm sure he is. Travis is he's awesome. He's voiced so many iconic characters. He's an incredibly talented voice actor. He's an incredibly talented performer. Forgetting like the incredible voice work he can do, just performing, he's brilliant. I'm not surprised that he's the head of the creative team for this and doing such a good job alongside Sam. Let me read out some of the messages that I sent while I was at work having finished these episodes. So I said on Monday, just watched episode 7 of Vox Machina and I want to be violently sick. At which point Holly said, oh shit, I've got to go watch and find out why.
Yeah.
I said, I have to wait until lunch tomorrow and there better be a resolution I am happy with. Horry then said he's seen it and he's going to be silent moving forward because he realised what part of the story we were at. And I just went, I'm devastated. So in episode 7, Percy dies. Like, obviously other stuff happens, but at the end of the episode, he deals with the woman, I forget her name, Ridley. And he, like, gets over his vengeance. He offers her a hand. He goes, you can do so much great for this world if you stop being angry. Which is beautiful, by the way. The writing of that, like, dialogue, gorgeous. And she's like, okay. And then she pops out a little gun and shoots him in the fucking chest. Let me be very clear about this. I know we joke about how we're both like on spectrums and stuff. One of my biggest traits that would get me a diagnosis is my pattern recognition. It's ridiculous. It's why Jenna doesn't share what mobile game she's enjoying with me. Because if it's interesting to me, I will download it, I will optimize it, and I'll overtake her. Yeah, my pattern recognition is insane. It's not deliberate, it just is. Which means watching TV shows for me can sometimes, despite how much I enjoy it, be a bit difficult because tropes are tropes for a reason. The way stuff is written is the way stuff is written. You start to notice things. I have no idea what the fuck's going to happen because this is based on D&D, where some idiot voice actor playing a game with his mates could, for one random session, decide he was going to do something completely out of character. Which they can do, it's their prerogative, they're having fun, and that changes the entire course of that arc, and you can't predict that.
Nope.
Because when they were playing the game, they weren't playing like, oh, this is going to be an animated TV show one day, they're just trying to have fun. Which makes it better, because I can't predict it. But I'm not used to not having any fucking clue where we're going, And then when you add in the fact that D&D literally has like mechanics in place for a character permanently dying and being replaced, I'm sat here and I'm like, I was like, okay, cool, it's ended, but we're going to the next episode. The next episode will be them going to get like a magical item that will let them resurrect him. Cool, whatever. The next day, I open up the episode. I'm like, right, cool. Let's see what's going to happen. I see them walking into a building. Grog doesn't have a beard. I'm like, oh, Grog shaved. Strange. I'm like, oh, this is them going to go find a magical item or something to save Percy. Fucking flashback to when they met Percy. At which point, I literally audibly went, oh no. Not great.
Flashback, it was something completely new for me, because obviously that stuff was they'd played for, I don't want to say over a year, just as a home game before this became like the live game.
So this might be something they've always known is how they met, but never needed to
this was probably before. From like session 1 or something, but yeah, we didn't know.
And then it cuts to his funeral back in Whitestone, and I'm just like, no, this is unacceptable. Percy in season 1 wasn't like, I was pretty indifferent towards him. Season 2, Percy really grew on me, and now I'm livid at this point. I'm like, right, we're gonna go off, do some stuff. As long as a new character doesn't get introduced, I'm not gonna start panicking. They're all busy guys. Maybe it was literally just a case of, I have to go away and work on a project for a while. I can't be here. Because this was still in the early-ish days of Critical Role. It might not have been so big yet that they could like kind of turn down work to keep doing Critical Role.
Ashley Johnson, actually, for a lot of it, Pike was off. Like, there was often parts of the campaign where Pike went off for a bit because she had work.
Part in season 1 where Pike wasn't in like 2 or 3 episodes, wasn't there? Because she'd gone to chapel or something.
So they kind of shortened it for this animated show and like have had fun getting to add her into parts of the story arcs because she wasn't there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of the live game that she missed, or she would do over like Skype or Zoom, because I think it was actually before Zoom.
Yeah, I mean, she was probably doing like The Last of Us Part 2 or something at the time.
Well, no, this is before that.
Maybe the 12 remastered version, I don't know.
No, it was she was in a TV show, and I forget what it was now.
So I'm there like, as long as there's not a new character introduced, and I don't see him voice. Insane! I've never hated the Amazon feature where you can see the cast before. Because I was checking it, and I was like, cool, he's not in this scene, it's fine. Desperately, I'm like, as long as there's not a new character introduced, we're absolutely fine. He can still come back. Copium out the fucking wazoo. So we go through episode 8. They form an army. Really cool episode. Don't get me wrong, I love these episodes, and we'll talk about these episodes. I'm talking about the emotional journey of Percy. Then we get into episode 9, where like the siege on Mount Doom, as I'm going to call it, has started, and obviously it went wrong, and the dragons come out, and they're like, shit, what do we do? Grog gives a brilliant, right, this is what we're going to do, which is really funny, because that's clearly a moment where Travis has broken through Grog and come up with the plan. So they make that a joke by Grog going, I blacked out. What did I say? Really, really funny. Cracked me up. So much love for Grog. If anything happens to Grog, we will riot. This won't just be Connor goes on a ramble for 10 minutes. This will be Connor refuses to watch the show until he's confirmed that Grog is back and healthy. So we do our stuff. Scanlan and Grog go in, fuck up some dragon's eggs. Then Scanlan goes fucking Super Saiyan, which was awesome. All the characters getting their own like Super Saiyan moment was really fucking cool. I really enjoyed that. But then he should fucking knock the fuck out and comatose or whatever. If we lose 2 of these motherfuckers in this season, there are going to be hell to pay. The only good news is he's not dead. Like, we know he's not dead. He's just unconscious. He's in some weird magical limbo state. I'm going to assume that my current working theory is Scanlan is in D&D equivalent of limbo. He is going to go and find Percy's soul and drag it back to Earth, kicking and screaming, back into his body, and the team will be reunited. If Percy is actually dead, and that's how they've killed him off, I'm going to lose my mind, because it was so out of fucking nowhere and gut-wrenching. And while that's good TV, it sucks because I like Percy. I'm so happy to stream more episodes, so I at least have a chance of a little bit of, like, being able to maybe work out what direction this is going to go. But if a new character magically appears in one of these next 3 episodes, I'm going to start to get very fucking nervous.
So last week, I mentioned Scanlan not being there in one of the episodes.
Yeah.
I felt like they're setting up a story moment that I think is coming. I still, from that and from what happened in these 3 episodes, we're still on track for it to potentially happen in these last 3. Emotionally, I don't think either of us are ready for these last 3.
Oh no.
It's so hard because it's like, I really don't, because of like how intense this is, I really don't want to spoil anything. With the Scanlan thing, that I'll say the unconscious thing, I think is their way of playing with the D&D mechanic of like, you have to do death save. Like, you can be kind of dead but not dead in a state of that. That's them dealing with that state of limbo, I think, which is basically how it happened in the thing. I would say, I don't know if it just because I don't know, maybe just because in the live game it hit harder, but Travis's moment where he's like, fix him, and he's screaming that, hit so much harder in the live game because he did it so well. Like, when you're there, sat there watching and you see Travis playing Grog, and it's like, in that moment, you see him like shout at all the others, fix him. I'm trying to remember now if he uses the line in the animated show that, at least in the live game, he says, "You all can do this incredible magic, but you can't do anything now." Like, basically, because he plays it in such a good way of like, all his character friends have magic in different degrees and can do crazy shit, and he is just,
you can transform, you can fly, you can do all this shit,
and for him, he's just a guy
that punches shit really hard.
So to his character, he's like, how the like, the emotion he has in the live game, like, it definitely came across, and like, I was like in shock when they did that to us with this. There's definitely a little bit of condensing.
Yeah.
That's making this feel very, very intense. But I actually think this is amazing fucking writing. I'm going back to the that mid-season thing that I was talking about, where they were talking about stuff, because that's the only things I feel safe to talk about. Fun fact, Liam. So I was saying Travis and Sam have done like the main heading up of this whole thing.
Yeah.
They obviously have a group chat where, like, when they get sent art, they pass it into the group chat, and they all get to see like art through as things are being made. They all recorded in the same room for season 3. So
that's cool.
Because like season 1 and 2 was back during like COVID-esque. So this time they all got to be in the same room together. Of which, imagine recording them scenes with Taliesin and Laura Bailey. And her husband's in the same room.
Yeah. When I realised that Travis and Laura are married, at first I was like, oh, that's really sweet. And secondly, I was like, that's also really funny.
Yeah, because Taliesin, who plays Percy, was like, oh, when I'm in a sound booth, I live in the awkwardness. He's like, I wanted to make that as, and Laura is like the opposite when recording. She suddenly gets really shy. So he had loads of fun with it, apparently. The hot tub episode, Liam, who plays Vex, not Vax.
Yeah.
Liam wrote that episode. So it seems like they've had some of the cast actually like write some of the episodes. And he said when he found out that it was the bath, he was able to do the bathtub thing, because that's obviously like his character. He was like, I had so much fun with it. The goldfish thing I mentioned, he was like, I had to get that reference in. So I don't think we're going to see the actual scene of that, but that is very much a reference to Keyleth being like, we're gods, and jumping off, turning into goldfish and going splat. Apparently the art, Travis was saying, there was a literal meeting and discussion about the size of the hot tub. of which the first draft was, that's too small, that wouldn't work, that would be a bit too weird.
I love the idea of them, like the three of them being in a meeting room, laying down on the floor, trying to work out how big it needs to be a little uncomfortable, but not so small that it's like, well, they're definitely going to accidentally brush against her and realize someone's there.
He was like, there was the discussion of that's too big, or that we need to find that perfect thing. But yeah, also the changes that I mentioned about the calamity and stuff, that was like a creative decision of like, they realized there's the story where they go to hell, there's a story where they go to the fire elemental plane, like they found a way to merge that. Also, apparently they were writing that right after the calamity 6-parter.
So obviously, it's really fresh.
Definitely some recency bias to be like, oh shit, we could make use of this new stuff.
That was really cool, and that mixes in nicely.
Yeah. Which I actually really like. But yeah, I messaged you today being like, I could have watched 10, 11, 12 today, but for the sake of the pod and not getting anything mixed up or accidentally giving anything away, I haven't watched it.
There is a real chance I binge all 3 over the weekend instead of waiting until next week. But we still won't talk about it too much, other than holy shit.
Yeah. I fear it's going to be intense.
The copium tank is running out. I'm really scared for Percy and Scanlan. Especially when inside canon there is already a Scanlan-esque character that, like, as a comic book fan, Scanlan's daughter is like the perfect character to step into Vox Machina if Scanlan was to die, because she does the same things and she has an emotional connection to the OG. So I'm just there like, that's a little bit scary. Do they also go and get Ridley and she like replaces Percy? Because that's quite scary. But I don't think they'd get rid of the voice actors. But I guess like the money goes to Critical Role and they divvy it up anyway. So like if it's like we're going to do less work, maybe they're not too worried. But I'm worried. If I hear or I see that Percy's voice actor's got a credit and then there's no flashback scene, I'm going to probably fall on the floor and cry. Which I think has to go to show how good a job they've done establishing these characters in 9, 2 lots 12, 33 episodes?
Yeah, something
like half an hour long.
Something I will say where I'm in the same boat as you, well, the fandom was shook that have seen the live game. And this doesn't spoil anything, but Cash.
Yeah.
And Zara, who are
that was that was horrific.
Cash didn't die in the live game.
No, correct me if I'm wrong here. Were they guest voice actors they got on for? Their characters that
the last time with the Slayer's Take episode when they were there, that was them doing a guest, and then in Critical Role fashion, sometimes the guest came back. But this is like, you've got to think these arcs lasted for months because it's one game a week. Like they came back on like way later for this because it was like a cool, we get to bring them back and they can come on again.
But they decided to kill Cash off in the show instead of.
There's things about those two characters that we got told like at the end of the campaign of like where they ended up. And this changes
that now
things.
Isn't true. Oh no! Did Cash and Zara go off and be happy and get married, and now that can't happen? Oh no!
The fandom is shook because everyone's like, "What does this mean?"
That Cash death scene was beautifully animated, by the way.
It was so well done in the like reveal. In
his ghost form looking down at his mangled body. But it's interesting because obviously Vax was out like in like the ethereal world, I'll call it just to make it easy, because he's got like the Raven woman,
the Raven Queen,
like is like his sponsor or whatever.
So she is the goddess of death. He made a deal with her it gets a more intense deal down the line, but like he now has this like his fate is tied to her choice, like what she wants of it. I think.
So could he have saved Cash, but he didn't because the Raven Queen said not to? Is that the implication?
I think it's more. I don't think they were showing it like in a sense of like he could have saved him. I think they were showing he was seeing what the Raven Queen sees when like a spirit, like he.
So he saw Cash's ghost.
I think he saw that, and like it was meant to show that he has now got this connection to the goddess of death. So he's starting to see these things where he sees.
He's not seen Percy. Oh my god, is he going to make some? Is he going to get further in debt to the Raven Queen to save Percy? Oh.
I will say, I don't remember how it's come. Like the Vax and Raven Queen becomes a very big part of his story arc. For the whole campaign. So, but like this is the thing. There is some things they've done differently that I'm now like I know things, but I also like
they're tweaking just enough.
They've proven they'll change like and merge story arcs and different things. So like it throws me off at times. So.
Phenomenal writing, phenomenal voice acting, phenomenal animation.
You haven't talked about the whole Vex saying, not saying.
Oh, Vex not saying I love you. I think I'm sitting in a little bubble of disbelief where she's going to get to say it. However, when Percy comes back and she doesn't say it straight away, I will get angry with her. I'm a little bit concerned because I know how fucky D&D can get about Percy coming back, but like demon inhabited Percy. It's Percy's body, but not Percy's soul. And then the end of like season 5 is the reveal that Percy's the big bad, and then they have to fight Percy because that might hurt more. Because that seems like the kind of shit Matt would pull off. He'd go to whoever voices Percy, I forget.
Taliesin,
and go, okay, I'll make you a deal. I will bullshit away up for Percy to come back alive, but you're now on my side. Like, that seems like the kind of shit that Mercer will try and pull off. So I'm very skeptical of that.
I'm pretty sure, well, I know across all their campaigns, I think Matt has them make several characters. Or some of them do choose to make several characters on the occasions that something would happen. But like, it's funny like because obviously they've confirmed season 4, and we will talk about that in the news. But like season 4 got confirmed. Travis has talked on the fact that like writing up to where they are in season, like they didn't know if obviously they hoped season 4 would get confirmed or renewed, and Amazon would want to keep this going. But like they are literally now at they're trying to just like cram as much of the story in. So like respectfully, like not too much that it doesn't make sense, but like they're just trying to tell as much of this story as they get chance to. There's not a guarantee this reaches the end of the whole Vox Machina story, which would be a shame.
Is all of the episodes on YouTube?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like if they don't get to the end of it, I would have to go back and like work out where I got up to.
It's a lot of hours.
Yeah, but I'd have to go to wherever like the story got up to and like jump in.
You'd be able to find out, because there's some like wild shit that happened. Like, I will say, all I will say with the D&D is like, as you get to like level 18 to 20, like you are essentially becoming gods. Like
you do some wacky shit.
Matt has to scale shit to match that, and like the story arc gets crazy towards the end.
The nature
but there's still plenty to go till then, so we'll wait and see.
Yeah, loving the show so far. It's got 3 episodes to save me. This tank of copium is getting a little bit light. You know what I mean?